lowest balance, I don't care if that lowest balance is 2%, and then your Visa, which is your highest balance, is 29.99%. You pay the lowest balance off first. You then recapture whatever money you're giving to that lowest one back over here, and it would just stay in this account. Now what you've got is you've got the money that you're saving plus the money that you were giving away. Faster. This is where velocity comes in. So none of you were wrong when you were saying velocity. I heard that a lot. It was right. It just wasn't the right answer for that question. So if you did that, and then you just go down the line, now all of a sudden the velocity of money starts really working for you, because instead of paying off the highest balance, you pay off, or I'm sorry, the highest interest rate, you're paying off the lowest balance, recapturing the money, redeploying it to the next one, recapturing, redeploying. Your debt disappears just like the chiropractor. Boom. You don't even need a stupid whole life. Like what we teach, yes, there's always a whole life because it is the most efficient way. It is the uninterrupted compound interest. But I want you all to understand something. Brent might not like what I'm going to say. You can do the infinite banking concept with a checking account. You can do the infinite banking concept with a home equity line of credit. You can do the infinite banking concept with a 401k. It works. It's just taking back control of the money you're giving away. It's just taking back the banking functions into your life. That's all it is. Too many people that think they know what they don't know. Did Brent do the Will Rogers quote? Okay, you all saw that. They're all that guy, okay, saying, I know everything. But the big thing is they just don't understand these simple concepts, and that's it. So now, let's get, Bill, you asked the question about, can I loan money to my company and take a write-off there? Sure, so let's just do round 2, flow of money. This is what I do with almost all of the money I run through my 7 policies. I put money in. I immediately find an opportunity. How many of you are real estate investors in here? Okay, keep your hands up. How many of you need money for your real estate? Even more hands went up. They're not even real estate investors and they need money. It's magical. So I never, ever, ever run out of places to move my money. I might think I run out, but then all of a sudden I come to an event like this. I'm like, hey, who needs 20 grand at 12%? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, I just moved, I don't know. I just moved 100 grand. Right there. Just like that at 12%. And I did it with very low risk. And, you know, advisors are always like, oh, my God, you're going to do that private loan? So risky. You're going to lose all your money. Stop and think. That's funny. Banks do this every single day, and it doesn't seem like they're doing too bad. The richest man in Babylon, all they did is lend money out, and they did okay. And then you get into the mathematical statistic of the risk of lending versus maybe like, you know, the overall stock market. Not what you guys learn with options. That's calculated and different. I'm talking like the person who just puts money in the 401k doesn't even know if they're in low, moderate, or high risk. That's what I'm talking about. The risk of lending in a first secured position, I think, is something like 85% less risky than the overall market. I might be off a little bit. You can Google that. Remember yesterday I said my favorite tool is what? Not Shauna, but Google. Because you can get just about anything you need. You can fact check every single thing Brent and I say. So what I do is I find people that want to pay 12%, and I loan that money out. They do a promissory note. They sign it saying, for 1 year, I'm going to borrow your money. I'm going to pay you 12%, and it's going to be a monthly check, interest only. And then after that, I'm going to sell the house, refinance the house, and you're going to get all your money back. Great. And then what I do is I take that money that you're giving me, I move it right back into my segregated account. Then I move whatever I can back into my policy, and I make the spread. But see how big the spread just got right there? Okay. I'm now making 1% on the left side, 12% on the right side, and then I'm recapturing all that money back over, and I get to use every bit of that again. So even if I only had 20 grand and I could only take care of one of you that needs a $20,000 loan, it's not going to take me long when you're paying me 12% for me to build up another 20 grand to redeploy. In that, I keep going back to this richest man in Babylon. Like, he talks about this. This is before Christ, folks. This is what they did. They just didn't have the machine, folks. I'm not telling you anything that's new. This has been around forever. They just don't teach this. Why? What does this benefit? You. No, this benefits you. You think the bank's benefiting here? Where? Well, if you're silly and you leave the money in that middle bucket, yeah, the bank's making money there, but you got to get that out. You are winning. Do the banks want you to win, or do they want to win? They want to win. Does Wall Street want you to win, or do they want to win? Right. You got to change the environment that your money operates in. You need to start winning, just like they did back in the richest man of Babylon. Babylon was the wealthiest, we'll call it like a city, in the world. Does anyone know why? Who read the book? Why was Babylon the wealthiest city in the world? Is it because they had big stockpiles of gold? No. Anyone know? Bingo. Who said that? I'm going to give you $5. That is the absolute correct answer, knowledge. You know what they did? There was this guy, okay? He was the richest man, and the king called him in and said, "You're the richest man in the land, and we want to know how you did this because we want you to teach our teachers at the centers of learning how you did this so that they then can teach their students so that their students can teach their children." Folks, holy crap, that is how Babylon became the wealthiest city in the world. Ouch. They were taught the laws of wealth, which is what Brent and I are teaching every single day. And yes, do we make 90% less? Yeah, do you think we care? No, because we get to help thousands of people. So yes, we make a lot of money on scale, but the best part about what we do is we help thousands of people change their financial futures. And then I get the financial advisors like, "Oh, that doesn't work. Like, that policy is going to lapse." Great. So we right now have 3,500 clients. We have 200 more going in every single month. Google our name. Google Money Multiplier, Brent Kessler, Chris Noggle. And you know, if there's someone out there that's mad at us, don't they go immediately to Reddit? Don't they immediately post negative things everywhere? Find one. Find one. There's got to be one. With 3,500 people, we have to have one client that's pissed off at us. Seriously, like, even if we do a good job, there's got to be one. Not one. There's one guy who posted something who's not even a client, but you got to discount that. And I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. So here, you see this strategy. Now let's go one step further, sir. Bill, let's just say how many of you own companies? Larry, you got a copy machine here, right? Right there, okay. So see this copy machine in the back? If you owned a company and you need a copy machine because you need more volume than the little stand-up ones can do, you'd go and you do this. And there's tons of places that will come in, they will give you that copy machine, the brand new, it will come up with a service contract, and I don't know, let's call it 160 bucks a month would be your lease. And you're like, man, that's great. Piece of cake, I need that. And you just pay 160 bucks a month. Every month, 160 goes to somebody else. Nobody ever seems to add up 160 times 12 times the number of lease payments because you way overpaid for that machine. But then when the machine's done, I'm talking about a copy machine because this just happened. When the machine's done, the guy comes back in with his tie. He says, "Oh, we got this brand new machine. Yours is obsolete. The software is no longer going to be good." I don't know if that's real or not, but that's what they tell you. "And we need to get you this new one. And here's a brand new machine. It does way more than yours, $171 a month." And immediately you're like, "Well, that's not bad. I was paying $160, now $171, and I get a nice fancy new machine." But what I did this time is, because I did lease it the first time, stepped back. All right, did the math. I'm like, that means I'm going to pay $9,800 for this machine over 5 years. Then you're going to waltz back in here and you're going to tell me for me to buy that machine, it's another $2,000. So I'm in almost over 10 grand or 11 grand for that machine. And now I own a 5-year-old machine. I'm not going to own a 5-year-old machine. The guy's going to lease me another one. So then I said, all right, well, here's what I'm going to do. Mr. Copy Machine Man, how much can I pay cash for that machine today? If I want you to just drop that machine off and I'll give you a check, what's my discount? Oh, well, we could probably do that for about $7,100. Okay, so we went from $7,900 to $7,100 because I get a discount for paying cash. I'm like, sweet. I went to my policy. I wrote a check. I lent that money to my company over here through a note. I just did a one-page note. I, Chris Noggle, lend money school, $8,000, we'll call it, $8,000 at 6% for 5 years. And I just made it so that the payment was $171. Fully legal. Your CPA would love you for doing this note because now you've got documentation, and I lent money to my company. And every month, how much money does my company pay my bank? $171. How much money do I make after 5 years? $9,800. I think I'm doing the math right. $9,800. So did I not just get all the money back for that stupid copy machine that I would have leased? Yeah. And then do I have to come to myself and say, all right, money school, you want that machine? $2,000. You can. That's the cool part. You're the bank. Go back to your company and look at, just do it in the front of a mirror. It's super fun. Be like, all right, so I know you've had this machine for a while. If you want this, I'll give it to you today only, and I'll give you a bonus of free paper reams, $997. You could. You're the bank. You make the rules.
Flow through LLC?
Yeah,
or
that's
okay,
what
so
mine is.
it doesn't have to be like
you're
a
going to have
corporation.
some taxable thing because the money that comes back to you is going to be taxed. So you get a write-off from your company, but you're going to pay tax on it. But it's a wash.
Okay.
Get yourself a good CPA. They'll figure out how to wash that plus two. I don't know. CPAs do fun things. Don't know how they do it. Don't need to know.
Thanks.
That's why you hire up, right? You're not a CPA. You're not a copy machine person. You are a jack of one thing, and that is what you're best at. Hire the rest out. Always. Overpay people. Netflix did it, and it worked pretty well for them. They went out for the best talent to build Netflix, and they overpaid everybody. And how'd that work out for them? Good, they got the best talent. And then everybody came to them, wanted to steal their employees, and what'd they do? Made it so nobody could afford to take these employees from them. But they did. Overpay people that are worth it in your life, and they will pay you triple back in return. Ask Shauna how that works out. So remember we were talking about these strategies. Everybody understands the circle, right? Your money starts over here. You change one thing, and that's where your savings goes first. You move the money out for copy machines, cars, all sorts of stuff. Then you move the money back. Easy, right? Nobody in here has a problem with that concept, right? But then we got to add the uninterrupted compound interest. And this is the one thing that people always want to know, but nobody ever seems to show. So we all think that the spread is 1%. 6 minus 5%, right? Well, in year one, that might be that. But compound interest is that perpetual tailwind. So let's just go to my policy, and this is one of my 7. I put 30 grand in year 5 when I'm 49 years old. How much money do I have in cash value here? 33. Is that not $3,028 more than what I deposited that year? Yep. That means I made 10.09%. So can anyone do the math for me? 10.09 minus my cost of capital. Let's assume it's 5%, the loan from the insurance company. What did I make? Well, 10.9 minus 5. Yeah, right. More than 1, isn't it? Okay, one more round. 10 years, 29.997. I put in 29.9. I get 38, which is 8,961, 29%. Minus 5? Anyone okay with that? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So this is what people don't understand. This is that perpetual tailwind of your money operating in the right environment. If you just change that, how can you ever lose? And the best part is you could say, well, yeah, but if a recession happens, if the insurance company goes bankrupt, then yeah, maybe that could happen. But they've been around 163 years so far. Doubt they're going anywhere, but it could happen. But these numbers only go up. I know we're cut off in the middle, but trust me, they just start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only thing a lot of people will do is they'll be like, yeah, but Chris, that's not the real return. Because if I add up 30,000 for 5 years and I multiply that times the amount that I had, which is not up here, that's not 10%. That's more like 4. You know what they're doing? Cumulative return. You know why they're doing that? All they know. Because they've always taken their money, gave up control of it, and just let it sit somewhere because that's all they've ever known. So all they can do is just add up the total amount they've deposited by the amount they have, and that gives them the return. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how you would do your 401k. That's how you would do everything. But how do real estate investors calculate return? If I got to put 10 grand into this deal, how much money does my 10 grand earn me that year? And then the next year, if I got to put another 10 grand in, how much did I earn that year? That's the only calculation because you're looking at the net profit, boiling it all out. And you're saying, I got 10 grand in the deal, my net profit's $1,000. Divide one into the other, that's your cash on cash return. Why would you ever look at a cumulative return in a scenario where if I put money in, I can take that money back out, and my money made 10% that year? Your money should be calculated in the way that it's used, not the way that people think that you should use it. Make sense? Cash on cash. If I put money in and take it out, the only return that matters is the amount my 30 grand made that year. It doesn't matter what return my money made in year 4, year 3, year 2, year 1, because every one of those years, I've taken the money out, and one of you people that had your hands up took it at 12%. So I'm making 12% no matter what, plus the spread. My spread, the uninterrupted compound interest, only gets bigger. Is that not cool? Okay, nobody's sleeping. This is really good. It's really good. I guess I'm doing okay. So let's just keep going then. This is kind of what I was just saying, and this is where people get it wrong. They think like this. I got 100 grand in the bank. I take 27 out. The bank is paying me interest on 73, but I got my 27 grand. Okay? It's not a loan. That's a typo. But if I put it into this policy, if I just change where the money goes first, and I take 27, I got 100 grand working. The smile could be better, but I was trying to show that I'm happy. Okay? Now, how about retirement? A lot of people look at cars and everything else, but at a certain point in time, you might want to ease back. I don't believe in retirement, just so everybody knows. I think retirement is a false reality that people have painted into our heads to make us think that there's some finite date when we can actually stop working. And what happens when people stop working? They graduate. Always. It's almost like, I don't know, I almost think insurance companies probably have figured this out. They probably created retirement because they're like mortality tables. We need people to die. Let's just get them to stop working by giving them pensions and 401ks and all these things. But anyway, I don't believe in retirement, but let's just say you did want to retire. So here's an example, 44 straight through, and let's just say I retire at 65. But retirement to me would just be I choose when and how and what I do with my time. That's retirement. It's not retirement, it's freedom. That's all it is. It's financial freedom. Anyone that is financially free does not have to wait to a specific date. Social Security is the biggest lie they've ever created. It wasn't created to be a retirement. It was created just for something totally different. And it's, thank you. If you see that on my Facebook page, yeah, Ponzi scheme. But hey, government's got lots of those, so let's not fault the government. That's just the business they're in. So in 65, I deposit 12 grand. And at 65, I can take out $22,000. So I put 12 in, I can take 22 out. My projected cash flow is 43. So that's not too bad. All right? I put 12 in, and I got 41,000 to use. If I subtract the 12, it comes to that number. This is a lot of numbers, and if you guys want to take a picture of this, you can. All I do this for is just so you can see, I put in this, and I have that to use. That's the only reason I put that up. And this is my exact plan. But the cool part is for those that love the returns, I put in 539 to age 73. Guaranteed, only the 4%. I have 658. That's a 22% cumulative return. But with the dividend, which they paid every single year, I have 1.1 million, which is 113.24% cumulative return. Not too bad. And if everybody's excited about those numbers, you are failing yourself. Because you know what these numbers don't include? Moving. No, forget about death benefit. That's great, but none of this money got moved. We just put our money in this whole life, and we just forgot, and we left it because that's what we've been told to do. Put it in, leave it. Insurance company loves that. No. This doesn't include me taking 27 grand out and lending it to somebody at 12. The next year taking 29 out, lending it to somebody at 12. Doesn't include any of the movement of money. This is just your money sitting lazy in this policy, and that's not too shabby. So how does this actually apply when you get to retirement? Well, if that's what I look like at age 65, my total amount in is 431. Total cash value is 722. There's a number missing, but it's okay. 67.3% cash on cash. Here's how it works. How many of you in retirement, quote unquote, would want to keep making deposits to your policy if you stop working? Some people, some are smart. They're like, well, yeah, dude, why would I ever stop putting 12 grand in when it's going to pay me, what was that, 44? And the next year was more. But the average person would be like, well, I don't really want to put any more money away. I just want to retire and not save any. So what we do is we would show it so that you never, ever recapture any money, and we'd basically build it so you never can put another dollar in it.
Can you go back to the previous screen for a second? Okay. That's fine. Or the next one. I want to show the illustration.
Oh, I thought you were trying to make a joke about what I'm going to look like.
That one. Okay. You guys all listen to 1210, right? How many of you have heard crash-proof retirement? Anybody want to know what that is? You are looking at it right now. So just understand, because I've had a couple of people call, hey, should I do crash-proof retirement? And I go, no, talk to Chris Noggle. It's the same exact thing. This is exactly what they're selling. They're selling you a whole life policy, and this illustration is what they're going to show you.
Okay, man. Yeah, and Power of Zero is another great book. It was written or inspired by the guy that was pretty much the CPA under Bush of the United States, under Bush and Clinton. I might have that fact a little wrong. They talk about life insurance a ton in that book in chapter 5 or 6. And they don't call it life insurance. They call it Lipper. You got to get one of these Lipper accounts. Life Insurance Retirement Plan. Cool, huh? Does Lipper sound better than whole life in your mind? Ooh, what's that Lipper thing? I need one of those. Oh, it's whole life. I don't want that. Oh, wait. I just told you what Lipper is, and you sounded pretty damn excited about that. But now that I called it what it is, whole life, you don't want it? Yeah, Dave Ramsey said those are a scam. Okay, then, man. See you, man. Change your mindset, then we'll talk. All right, so I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, Larry. All right, so anyway, in retirement, I'm just showing you, we took 93 grand out. How we would do it to avoid taxation, which is why the Lipper thing is talked about in a book about the power of zero, which is the power of paying zero taxes, is because what we would do is we'd take withdrawals to basis, which is the amount that we've deposited, and then after that, we just take loans against their death benefit until the day we die. When we die, they just subtract the balance. That's it. That's simple. And what does that actually look like? Well, right there is my plan. Now, just bear in mind, this is one policy out of 7. I put $30,000 in for the first 10 years, $12,000 in every year thereafter. $93,000 tax-free every year from, what is that, 50, what do I got there, 65 or 66? And I could have done it earlier. Every year until I'm age 100. I doubt I'll make it that far. Stress will take me out way sooner than that. But that is just one. What about the real estate that's paying me? What about my other 6 policies? And I'll probably have another 16 by that time. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is not a complicated process. Maybe you can't put 30 grand in. Great, put 500 in. Put whatever you can save. Go ahead.
So yesterday, Brent was showing that after 5 years, he had dropped the premium. Is there a reason to leave it 10 or a reason to drop it after 5? Or?
Personal preference. What you have to understand is when we build these plans, they are designed, custom designed for that individual's needs and goals. Some person might have a need for 5 years, and then they want to drop it. Other people might want to maximize it, which would pretty much be 10 years. You're not going to get any further than that before it drops 60%. Some people might be like, I'd like to fund for 8 years. We can do that too.
So like anywhere between 5 and 10 is a sweet spot of where to drop it.
Correct. Yeah, anything before 5 years, there's no way.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question, though. Does anyone have any other questions while we're going? I'm going to get to questions at the end, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything before you guys forget it. We're all good, right? Yes.
Fluctuate what you put in.
Yes. So, great question. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, we talked yesterday. Jim. So Jim asked, can we fluctuate our deposits? So let's say I start a policy at 30. COVID round, what are we at? 16? 18? COVID round 18 kicks in, and I lose my job, and I can no longer fund my policy at 30,000. Great. I have the ability to fluctuate down to as low as 12,120. The 120 is a very important number. It's $10 a month. If you were to reduce from 30 down to 12, the insurance company would stop you from ever being able to put 30,000 in again, and you'd never be able to make up the amount that you didn't put in. But if you put just an extra $120 in right now, today only, you can then jump back up to the 30,000. Okay? It keeps that option alive to put money into the general account called paid up addition. It's a very good question. And a lot of people do have that problem. We have people all the time that come into this, they set up a plan, life things change, or maybe they just took on too much, which is a problem. We just reduce it. They call us. It's always the scared call. They forget everything we taught them. And it's like, oh my God, I don't know how to say this. I can't make those premiums anymore. And they always call them premiums. I'm like, you mean your deposits? Yeah, those things. Premium deposits, folks. Premium deposits. These are not payments. These are deposits into your bank. And then they're like, I don't know. I don't want to lose this. Great. Well, what can you deposit? I don't know. Could we do half? Sure. Oh, really? Yeah. We'll take care of that right now. So then monthly, it'll just be this amount. Is that okay by you? Yeah. Great. That easy. You have the ability. The 30,000 is your option, not your obligation. 12,120, that's your obligation. Okay. So if you can't do the 12,120, well, I'm going to hope that you're after year 10, because after year 10, we could do what's called a reduced paid up and end all of your premium deposits if you wanted to. Never again would you have to put premium deposits into your policy again, and all your cash value would continue to grow with uninterrupted compound interest. All policies have that provision. Okay? Any additional questions on this?
Can you explain how a dump in is if you have extra money and you want to put it in? How does that work?
Easy. So, do you have any money in your right or left pocket right now? Stand up. Can you take the money out of whatever pocket it's in? And you can put it in your other pocket? And then can you sit down? Any questions? Okay, that's how a dump in works. You take money from this hand, you put it in this hand because it pays you more, pocket in that example. And it helps your policy tremendously because you have all that money in day one, year one, earning interest and dividends. So it's like putting a supercharger behind your money. Go ahead.
Would that be a smart thing to do? This way you're locked in at a certain rate, and then if you have extra money, do that. So you could always pay the premium no matter what. And then when you have extra money, like in other words, set the premium up for $5,000 a year, but you would actually, if you have extra money, put $10,000 in just to be safe in case you didn't have to be able to put $10,000 in 1 year.
Great idea. Love it. Can't do it. When we build the policy, we have IRS regulations we have to follow, or IRS rules. They're called the MEC 7 payroll. When we build your plan, we can build it to hold a dump in. So you could do $5,000 a year, and we can dump in 20 grand. That can be done right off the beginning, but that's it. After your plan's in force, no more. Yeah, because the IRS rules are very strict, and they require us to build the plan for what you want to do today, and then down the line, if you ever want to put more money in, you cannot. You can always put less in, but not more. Bingo. Just like banks. When you go down the street, I was here, man, there's some cool-looking banks out here. TD, and we saw this other all-glass one. We don't have those back home. But when you're driving down the road, you're like, did we just pass that TD bank? Nope. It's another branch. And you keep driving, there's another one. Nope. Another branch. Open more branches. Banks do it, so why can't you? You just open another policy, another policy. I have 7. I don't want 7, but I have 7 because I've wanted to put more money through my banking system. And because of IRS rules, I've only been able to put, like in this one, 30 grand. If I want to put 50 in, I cannot do it. If I want to dump 20 extra into it, I cannot do it.
After the 10 years?
No, you could RPU it, reduce paid up, and pay nothing into it after the 10th year. But $12,000 would be the minimum under this design if you wanted to keep making deposits after that year. But I don't want anyone to think that these numbers are carved in stone. These are my numbers. Your numbers will be significantly different. Your numbers will be your numbers. Maybe you're comfortable saying, all right, well, I'd love to fund it at 10 grand, but then after that, I only want to fund it at $4,000 a year. Whatever your number is, that's your number. Sometimes you want to start with what the bare minimum is, and we work up from that. Sometimes you want to start at what the maximum is and work down from that. You're the bank. You make the rules, not us. We just follow instructions.
Yeah, a question for you. If I want to start something for a child, right? I start it for a child. When they're 18, they get full access and control of it. But will they be able to change it?
Yes, but they don't have to wait till 18 to get full access and control. Sometimes I put my daughters in here.
How old are they?
My daughter?
Yeah.
Well, she's 17 months now, but I started it when she was 6 months old.
Yeah,
because all of you have a packet, and if you want, at the end, I mean, I'll have you, if you want, like me to email it, write on this back page here in this packet, just put your name and email, and just write down Vivi, and I'll email you what her plan looks like. I put $5,000 a year into Vivi's plan. So if you guys want that, because you already did this for Brent, that's just for email. Yes?
Check. Why can't you do more?
For what?
You said.
For this example?
Yeah.
Well, I could put $1 million a year into the plan if I build it to hold $1 million. But if I build it to hold 30, it can only hold 30 because there's IRS rules. The government's not dumb. The government knows that every dollar you put in here is going to grow tax-free. So anything that's good for you and bad for the government doesn't like. Roth IRAs, good for you, bad for them. So they put restrictions on it, and eventually they'll probably take them away, just so you know. So hurry up and get your Roth.
I should rephrase my question.
Sure.
I thought you said that you couldn't do any more policies.
I couldn't do any more policies? Oh, no.
Oh, no, you're still... When can you not do any more?
When you stop making more money. I was talking about a dump-in. So you might be
Okay,
thinking of the
got it.
dump-in. Yeah. That's not new policies.
No.
So it's called the human life value. So you will hit a human life value some point in your life where the insurance company will say, no. We can't give you any more insurance. Because you're looking at it like, I want to put more money in. The insurance company is saying, we're at risk for this much death benefit. That's all they care about is the death benefit. You care about how much you can deposit. You will hit that ceiling eventually. Or you just go out and make more money, and then your ceiling constantly goes up. But, when you hit that ceiling, is the game over? You're like, damn, hit my human life value. Nope. You borrow a life. You just go out and you're like, honey, come here. Vivi, come here. We need some more money running through these things. And when you run out of family, you go out and you say, all right, who do I like? Not anyone in your company. Shauna. And you pull out a little thing. You're being promoted to vice president. She just becomes an executive of your company, which makes her now an insurable interest of your company. You got a policy on her. Thanks, do it every day.
Do you work for Investor Schooling yet?
No, but I could.
Oh, okay, because
I think you got to pay me like.
Because you're definitely younger than me, and I could put more money in.
You could, absolutely could. Listen, I didn't come up with that. That's not a joke. How many of you have gone into your bank recently? You look at the little name tags. How many vice presidents did you see in that branch? Every one of them. Vice president of coffee making, vice president of cleaning floors, vice president of tellers. They're all vice presidents. Why? Right. Who's the #1 purchaser of whole life in the world? Banks. Look it up. Look it up. Is a bank able to buy a whole life? No, it's an entity. They got to have bodies to insure. That's why there's so many vice presidents. Samsung, Apple, they all do it. Man, they're all using this, but the only one that's not is us. All right. Yes.
So do they then use your money that you deposit to continue to pay
The
the
bank?
premiums? Yeah, the premiums on those insurance policies?
Well, you deposited money in the bank probably the last time you got paid, right?
Yes.
They're using that money to then buy policies on that vice president.
Right, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
got it.
Yep. And it's tier 1 capital. Is this not guaranteed? Yeah. Tier 1 capital, that 10% that the banks have to keep, the rest is just fiat money. That 10%, there's two places, well, that I know of, there's two places banks can invest that. Guaranteed life insurance, which is whole life, not IUL, not VUL, not UL, whole life, okay, only, or U.S. Treasury bonds. That's it.
This human life value thing, is it just with, let's say, insurance company number 1, and then you can run up a human life value on insurance company number 2?
Tommy, good question. He's asking, can you kind of play the game where you're like, all right, Mass, put me at my human life value, go to AUL, and then you go to Lafayette, and then you go to Penn, then you go to Guardian. No, they're all going to follow that same thing. You know, if maybe the only circle around on that is if you had a policy in underwriting with one company and you went right to another company, you did another policy in underwriting, and you kind of slipped under the radar, you get away with it then.
What is the advantage of, say, I have a policy, my wife has a policy, we want to buy another policy? What's the difference whether I put it on myself or one of my kids?
None. None.
How about with the dump-in value?
Usually you're going to want to put the most on your life if you're the breadwinner, like if you're the one that's making the income, because they're going to still look at that human life value on everyone. Your daughter or your son is going to have very low human life value because obviously their earning capacity is low, but they're going to take off of yours to determine that. So usually it's about a 50% ratio. If you've got $1 million in death benefit, they're going to allow about $500,000, give or take.
Ooh, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yes, one more and then I'll keep running.
What determines the interest rates? What determines the interest rates that the insurance company pay your money? Is it LIBOR?
A contract.
A contract?
So they've been paying 4% for, I don't even know, I've been in this business since '03. Since then, it's been 4%. But starting November 1st, that interest rate is going to be reduced. So this policy is 4%, guaranteed. Okay. What is it tied to? It's tied to their, just probably their basket of treasury bonds and everything else the insurance company has. I think it's kind of an arbitrary number that they pick. Dividends are more tied to performance of the insurance company, like profit and loss and surplus. But the 4% has just been a contract. It's been a contractual thing. That rate on this policy, which is Mass Mutual, is dropping to 3.75. Lafayette's dropping to 2% guarantee. The AUL 3.25. Now, all of you are like, oh my God, it's so bad. No, actually, it's going to be probably pretty good. Even though the guarantee is low, the insurance companies just increased the dividend to make it just where it is today. It takes the risk off the insurance company from a guaranteed standpoint, puts it a little bit more on you, but it's going to do something really cool. The IRS rules, the MEC rules, we are now going to have a field day. It's going to be partying like it's 1987 again. Why that? Because in '88, the MEC rules came out where they limited the amount we could deposit into these. Now, because of this lower guarantee, which is why Lafayette went to 2. A lot of you are like, oh, them greedy bastards. They went to 2%. No, they know this business. By going to 2, that allows them to trick the government's rules, and now we can put probably millions of dollars as a dump-in and really low monthly deposits, you know, if we want it. So that threshold changes the dynamic. Oh, yeah. Anyone that has a policy before November 1st, you're locked and loaded. You're good. You can't ever change that because it's a contract. Yep. Did that answer the question? Fantastic. All right, so this one just shows that, but let's talk a little bit about these two. These are real clients, Charles and Mary Jones. 10 years from retirement, love horses, care nothing about money, care nothing about saving, don't want to know about investments. They have $350,000 in savings. Before I go any further, anyone see a problem? Problem number 1, they should have kitty cats. But problem number 2? No, you don't know where that is. Retirement savings. Nope. Who can retire on $350,000? They're a little bit short for their retirement goals. But you might be like, well, we don't know the retirement goals. Listen, if you only have $350,000 for the 2 of you, you are beep. Everybody knows that word, right? I normally would just say it, but I think, you know, we want to be cautious here. Yeah. So that's the problem. They don't want an active role. So what we did is we taught them how to be the bank. Now, I'm going to move away from the banking policies because this would work with the banking policies. It just showed that. But what if we just went to self-directed IRAs? Okay. Can you be the bank with your self-directed IRA? Absolutely. All these principles of what I'm showing you, you can do with a self-directed IRA as well. So I just want to show you math on this. So they had 350 grand. They met with us. They were depositing 6,500 each into their IRA. And let's just call it a Roth, because otherwise I think traditionals are like a swear word to me. Let's just assume this is a Roth. They had 10 years, and let's just say how many of you would be okay borrowing money at 9%? Oh, really, more people wanted to pay 12 than 9. Like this group. Larry, I'm going to need a list of all their names, phone numbers, and addresses. Okay, thank you. So they were charging 9%. They actually put their money in a private fund that was loaning it out to real estate. They don't want an active role. They made 9%. So over 10 years with those deposits, their 350 grew to $1,026,000. Now, how many people in here think $1,026,000 would be a good retirement? Got a lot of no's and maybe one saying yes. You're absolutely right. That could get you there. But under normal drawdown rules, okay, and how they do it, the 4% rule as they call it, you would run out of money at that, even at pretty much any income. But you wouldn't run out of money if that money continued to work at a rate of 9%. So what they did is they just kept that million earning 9%. Now in the stock market, because you earn a level 9% always, maybe if you're at every one of Larry's classes and you watch every single one of his videos, which has anyone watched every video on his website? Really? You guys got a shot.
Impossible.
You saw those hands. Can you put your hands up again? There you go. Keep at it. So maybe you could, but here they're just being the bank. They're just lending it out. Can they ever not earn 9% finding somebody that needs money? Probably. They'll probably get that forever. I don't know. Be not hard to do. That's $76.95 a month. It's a good retirement. But what's on top of that? Maybe they get that Ponzi scheme called Social Security, so that might be on top. And not only that, do they ever touch their principal? Nope. They're just playing with house money. See, when you stop thinking about money and wealth as you working for it, and you start changing your dynamic into your money working for you, everything changes. So this is their money working for them one time. They make $92,000 on that $1 million at 9%. But let's just say they don't need $92,000. They only need 60 to live on. Okay? 70, 80, 90. So we got $32,000 excess. Let's say they put that $32,000 excess into a banking policy or a bank account, and then as it builds up, they lend that money out. You know what just happened? You see, the money, the initial money, the $1 million, that was money they worked for and saved. Okay? But then they took that money and they had that money go out there and work for them. Then that money had offsprings. Okay? Little marching dollars. They're tiny, they're little, right? And they run around and they're very energetic and they want to go to work. So then you just take those little marching dollars and you send them to work because that's what they want to do. You see, your money, unlike us, we don't really want to work. Our money wants to do whatever we tell it to do. And it will do whatever you tell it to do. Or it will do nothing if you tell it to do nothing. And most people I meet tell their money to do nothing because they've never learned how to make their money work for them. Does everybody understand that? It's so simple, but yet, have you ever been shown that in your life? Can anyone make money by telling you how to make your money work? Not really. Maybe, but not really. It's a zero-sum game for the banks, zero-sum game for the brokers, zero-sum game for the financial advisors. So why the hell do I teach it? Because I make money so many other places that I don't need to make money by teaching it. But by giving you the power, to change your financial future, I get everything I want. Because anything you ask of life, life will give you. Did you hear what I just said? Say it. Correct. Keep repeating that and keep writing that down. And anything you want, write it down, draw pictures of it, cut pictures out, paste them on there. Never stop staring at them. Never stop focusing on them. And guess what will happen? What will happen? That's right. Everything. Dirt bikes, skateboards, snowboards, houses, money, G-Wagons. Think about something long enough and you ask for it enough. Now, I'm not saying you can just sit around and do nothing. You got to go out and do what you got to do. But everything, and I just wanted to do that because you're in the front row. It's very important. I wish I knew that. All right. How much time do I got? Where am I at? Oh, wow. Perfect. Tale of Two Investors. Okay, this is called the Tale of Two Traders. We got a YouTube video on this. This is my full-time trader, Sodi. He operates our private hedge fund. Okay, he's a wicked trader. Does options, does futures, does everything else. He's far better than I ever could dream of doing. But that's the only thing he does. I don't even know if he sleeps. But he drinks Heineken. I do know that. So I send him some Heineken when I'm out there. So what we did is, you guys all remember COVID. Okay, when COVID hit, what happened to the stock market? down 30-some%. So when that happened, what I did is, oh my gosh, I had 18 grand and one of my policies not out there working for me. And I'm like, you bastards, you're going to work. So I took that 18 grand and I loaned it to my TD Ameritrade account. And all I did is I just said, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to buy with it yet, so I'm just going to charge 7% simple interest to my TD Ameritrade account. And I literally just factored it out and just did a bankrate.com. Then what I did is it all happened, and that's the math on my policy. So this is kind of cool to look at. This is an older policy. So it was in the 14th year. I was only putting 4 grand in. My 4 grand that year made me 13. I just wanted to show that just so you can see, like, that's the power of compounding. Yet again, 4 equals 13. It's okay. I mean, probably could do better. Put money in the S&P 500, right? Just checking. So what did I do? I bought wimpy 6 shares of Tesla. $415 is where it was. And I thought, oh my God, that's probably going to go lower. But I bought it. And then immediately on 5/12, I sold it. There's your trades right down there. You can see them. I profited 107. Now, Sodi, when we do the video, he talks about, well, if I had done that with options, I would have made this return. And I said, well, I'm boring, and I just bought the stock. And I sold it at $832. And then my best friend Jack called me. He says, hey, dude, you're an idiot. Why'd you sell? It's at 1,000 now. I said, man, I made 107%. I've never met anybody that's upset at making money, but I've met a lot of people that get mad when they get greedy and lose money. So I trade with rules. My rules are not 100, but man, that happened quick. And when that happened, the next thing that happened is Tesla split in September. I did really nothing from that. I bought some other stocks and sold them. And I bought it again on the split, 338. I bumped my order up to 50, 30, and then I got filled the second day for more. Isn't that funny how that happens? You put the order in, market order, and it doesn't get filled. And then the next day, you got to go in and fill it again. I thought that was kind of crappy. Yeah, I probably did something wrong. I should learn from Larry. But anyway, I did okay. 17 grand, and I made 4,000. So I made 23. You can't see the date, but it was literally days. And then I kept going, and I'm like, oh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have let go of it. So I bought it again, 20, and I sold it again. Another 11% return. It's not about the returns of the stocks here, folks. All of you in this room would have done better. I am a wimp. Just don't like risk anymore. I played risk 16 years in Wall Street. I just don't do it. Sodi can do what he wants. He just better have money for me every single month. Whatever he does in that month, no big deal. You lose money, you better explain why. Me, I don't know. I just don't like risk. So this is what I did. But all of this would not have happened had I not had my money in my private bank. Now, maybe I had money somewhere else, but most people would have their money invested in the market because I'm in it for the long haul. Could you have done this if you had money in the market that you were in for the long haul? No, you just lost 30%. Sure, you could have reallocated and that, but you would have been better off probably just holding. I'm just trying to show you different ways to use this. And because, Larry's the what title should I use for options? Sutton of Sultan. Sultan of what, though? Stock options. Thank you. I almost just said options. So, he could show you how to do this far better than I can. I just did this the boring, old-fashioned way that I learned how to do it in, my years. So, with that being said, I've got one thing. I don't have anything to really sell you today, but I have an experience to offer you. How many of you came to my house for the last event? Okay? So we got a couple people that came to my house. We did what's called the experience, which is an event. It's a mastermind, limited to 25 people. Okay, that's it. And the first one that we did, which now created the founding members of it, we did it at my house. We did some really cool stuff. Was that a good trip? Okay.
This is on. It was awesome. I signed up when he offered it again. It was absolutely fantastic, and I met some great people. I got to really know Chris and some of his team members. It was really a fabulous experience for me.
So, and anybody that was there, I'm sure would say similar things. Tommy, and he's actually getting up out of his seat to tell you. Yeah.
Gordon was there.
Yeah, I was there. It was fantastic. I mean, it was the whole experience. So it wasn't just go there and just talk about money the whole time. It was an experience of getting to know people. And if you know about networking, that's the best way to do it. And then the other stuff comes along, and then surrounding yourself with these people. I mean, we were racing, and actually, where's Larry at? And it was Tris Noggle and Larry in one canoe, and they ended up winning. We had a canoe race. It was fantastic. I'm actually going to the next one too, guys. So if you guys are going to go, you'll see me there.
Who else did you guys meet there?
Rudy. Oh, yeah, we met Rudy. So I got a picture with him. He's on my Facebook right now. But, yeah, I met Rudy. That guy's presentation is fantastic because he's so down to earth. He just talks. He's just real relaxed. And And that man, he was an inspiration, definitely. And thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. Everybody's seen the movie Rudy, right? Yeah, there you go.
Rudy.
So we paid Rudy he was mad because we didn't pay him enough. He made me sponsor his bass boat after because I didn't pay him enough to come. But, he came out. In every event, we bring a celebrity in, but you're never going to know who the celebrity is. We've already got the celebrity for this event in Utah, but you won't know who it is until you get there.
Show me the money.
Maybe I can get Tom Cruise.
I went there in August. One of the best things I got out of this thing is I met Larry.
Good point.
Where is that funny looking guy? And then that led me, I also met Debbie, and I met Gordon, a bunch of other people. And I met Chris, and I met Brent. Now I met Hannah. And it is about networking. It's about meeting all these people that can help you get to where you want to go. I was the oldest guy there. I was the grandpa of the group at 67. And I'm locking down my IBC policies. I got one in hand, one showing up, and I want to buy one more. And where did this thing come from? Well, it started with a doctor named Duck Bong. He's a retired bariatric surgeon who I was losing weight with, watching his daily Facebook vids. And then in the month of April, he went off on this money kick. And oh my God, I'm thinking, oh shoot, I can lose weight and make money? And then that's when I hooked up with Chris and his gang, Larry and his gang.
Did you make money?
Yes.
Because you obviously didn't lose weight.
No, I lost. I lost.
He's lost a lot of weight.
I lost 35 pounds. I got a bunch more to go.
Man. Good for you.
And that's only since March. Larry's just picking on me. But you're gonna find that these experiences. Well, you may think they're not cheap because you do have to outlay some money, but you got to look at the return. And that's all I got to say.
And by the way, I don't know if you mentioned it, Chris, I had to run out and take a call. I'm one of the mentors on this too. So when you go, I'll be there as a mentor. So anybody who's going will, you'll get to be with me in Utah.
Yeah, and Larry was awesome at the event. He's always funny, but man, he was a whole nother level of funny. Maybe I'm just not around him enough.
I was just drunk.
Whatever happened, it was awesome.
So I was gonna say there was a fridge full of liquor and a room full of liquor, and by the end of the day, we had to go out and do beer runs because there was nothing left.
I was not prepared for that.
That was a lot of fun.
I don't drink much.
Yeah, and they had the whole cigar thing going on, so a bunch of guys were in there drinking, smoking cigars. There was definitely some learning going on, but a lot of it was just fun. Like really, just you didn't want to leave. Like the night lasted a lot longer because nobody wanted to leave because nobody was ready to go because we just all had a lot of fun and we were hanging out with everybody and went to the lake and went swimming and did the races. And it's not just about sitting in front of a room talking to having somebody speak to you. It was just a lot more engagement, and it really was such a great time. It was worth whatever you pay for it. It really was such a great experience.
Yeah, so the reason I bring this up is, this says 8, but we actually only have 7 seats left because there is only 25. I figured, what the heck, I'll offer it to all of you. The cool thing is I do masterminds all over the country. I mean, I travel and speak at them, but I also belong to them. And most of the masterminds I belong to, I pay $30,000. The one is $100,000 a year. It's called 100M. And some of you are probably like, why would anyone ever pay $100,000 to belong to a mastermind? And that's per year, because if the other guy sitting next to me paid $100,000 to be there, you think I want to know him? You think I want to know the guy or gal behind me that paid $100,000? Oh my God, yeah. The money you make, like I am from that event, okay, that I paid $100,000. I've got one guy who's putting $1 million away into a banking policy. Now, is that going to pay for my $100,000? Not even close. But he's not the only one. And I got another guy and another guy and another guy. Why? Because they all are of that caliber. I got another mastermind that's $30,000. Those people paid $30,000. Maybe not the same as the 100, but still a very high level. This mastermind is $49.97. Now it's less expensive because I don't want this to be like some giant money-making thing, and eventually maybe we'll evolve another level of it. But at $49.97, the average person, I can have them come and I can really help them meet people like Randy Garn, who will be at this one as well. Who is, I can't say he's a billionaire, but he's, what is he? So he's a 900 millionaire. I mean, who's counting at that point, right? But Randy is just, he's so high level. He'll be there. The guests, we have a ton of speakers that are coming out. Duck V is going to be there. So I finally got him. Under one condition, we got to make sure COVID isn't quite, at the ramped up levels, but he committed to being there. It will be a whole bunch of people, but please, if you do come to this event, do not come with the expectation of sitting in a room and learning a whole bunch of stuff. You can do that here. You can go on my YouTube and get everything for free. You're going to come to meet like-minded people that will change your life, because everything about the experience is focused on what your needs and goals are. Before you even come, we make you fill out this annoying long thing, and it tells us exactly what you want. Because if somebody knows what you want, and their sole focus is to help you get what you want, isn't that the better equation than just coming and learning a bunch of stuff that maybe applies and maybe does not? Yeah, that's what we do. But we don't just know that. We tell everybody in the group, all 25 people plus the mentors, what you want. Now you got 25 people that know exactly what your goal is, exactly what you're trying to accomplish. So now when we're out doing cool things like this one, we'll have fly fishing, we'll have skiing and snowboarding, we'll have some zip lining, we'll have some, because it's in March, it's really nice in Utah. It's at Sundance. You guys all know Robert Redford, right? That's his place. It's spectacularly beautiful. The places we're going to be staying are unreal. I mean, nicer than the house I used to live in, to be honest. And we're going to have all sorts of activities. If you don't want to ski, great, don't ski. But if you want to challenge yourself, maybe you try. But if not, we'll have other activities that everybody can do. And then we'll basically every night we'll get together and we'll go and do stuff together like dinners. You pay for the admission to the mastermind, which is $49.97. You get your flight out there. Pretty much everything else is taken care of. Do not bring a packed lunch. Don't bring anything else. We got you covered. Okay. So this will be a really wonderful event. It's March 10th through the 12th. The nice thing is, if you're interested, there are payment plans. So, for someone that's like maybe, because when I first started doing masterminds, man, I couldn't write a check for $5,000. Sure, I could swipe a card, but then I'm like, well, do you have payment plans? Sure. So you can break it down. You can do, 5 month, two payment, one payment, any way you want. And also, there's a big discount if you come as a pair. You, your spouse, you, your business partner on the bottom. So in your packet is this. There are 7 seats left. If you wait on this, you will not be coming, I promise you, because we're selling this event out way before this event ever gets sold out. So this is the first group that I presented this to, because everything else was just founding members and then our online stuff. But if you guys want to come, complete this. You don't have to figure out how you're going to pay. And then all we'll do is we'll set up a call with you to discuss kind of what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish, and we'll see if it's even a fit. Maybe this isn't a fit for you, but maybe it is. I know last night we were at dinner, and it was just like everybody wanted to go. So you heard about it, what it is. You guys want to come, fill that out, and hand it to myself and Joseph. Stand up. So if you guys want to, because we have to leave right after this, so I'm got to go home and pack because I'm moving tomorrow. Tear the sheets out and hand it to me or Joseph. Or if you just want the Vivi Lucky Jeans thing with my daughters, just fill the other one out and put Vivi on the bottom and then hand those to us. And then with that being said, I appreciate all of you and your time.
Do I have to point out who I think should go? No, I'm going to let you guys decide that. But real quick, so you got a book coming out, right?
Oh, I do. Yes. We have 2 books. I have a book that I'm doing with you.
I was actually just going to mention that, but I want to talk about your book first. Go ahead.
Okay. It's going to be called Laws of Wealth, and it's going to be my gift to my daughter. So it's going to be written in a third person of me telling my daughter stories of lessons of money and the laws of wealth. All applicable. We're taking like how the richest man in Babylon did it, bringing it to modern day and giving 5 laws and 10 rules to wealth. That's all you need to know. 5 laws, 10 rules, and it's going to be written in a similar context as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like, father, daughter. And then if you've ever read one thing, that'll be how the book will be laid out with graphics and everything.
I got a book coming out, Money Hacks, and it's called, the subtitle is Because Everything You Think You Know About Money Is Wrong.
Very true.
And he just like let the cat out of the bag. Chris and I have agreed to team up on a book. So we'll tell you about that. My guess is we'll be writing it over the next year, and sometime this time next year, we'll probably put it out. That's awesome, man.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
And one last thing, the Haters Need Hugs shirt. So I'm going to be giving one of these and a hat that says the same thing away at the panel. So just whoever wins that, just let me know and I'll mail it to you.
Okay, cool. And we're a little over time, as you guys already figured out, because we started a little bit late. So let's be back in your seats if you could look at the clock behind here. When the big hand hits the 12, be back in your seats. We'll see you back in a couple of minutes, and then we got a great presentation.